All right, everybody, welcome back to the Monday Morning Commute. Today, we're going to talk about EVs, and we've covered EVs before, but specific models or things that we were interested in. But today, we're just going to talk about the general attitude, both positive and negative, towards electrification in the auto industry, because just like everything else in our culture today, everything's polarized, right? And extreme opinions on either side that seem to creep into the mainstream conversation. And you'll hear more and more people, depending on which way they lean on a particular issue, start to echo those extreme statements. And EVs are very controversial. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I get it. You know, I've sat and had conversations with a lot of different people over the last couple of years about cars, and they're out car shopping or they're just interested. And boy, does everybody have an opinion on EVs. I'm going to start here. I'm a big EV fan, okay? Because I'm a car fan, all right? And I love V8s. I love the sound of the exhaust. I love a good six-speed manual transmission. I lament the fact that those things are going away, uh, but I also very much like what electrification is doing in the industry and the impact that it's having on products. All right, as a car person, I can appreciate all of the different types of power that come from ICE engines or from EVs or plug-in hybrids, everything in between. Now, we are in a transition economy in the transportation space. Okay, so back up 150 years, and as the Industrial Revolution was happening, and internal combustion was starting to come along and starting to transform an industry. A lot of the things that you would have heard back then, people claiming it was never going to work, that there was no infrastructure, that why would I invest in something that's so complicated when my horse and my buggy work just fine and they're ultra reliable. All of those same sort of arguments, you're hearing them being rehashed today as electrification comes along. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, there's still a lack of infrastructure, but we're still in those early stages of a transformation, right? EV charging in the next 10 years in the United States is expected to grow 10x. All right, that's probably on the conservative side because there's more and more announcements every day of strategic partnerships between businesses and charging station providers. There's a lot happening now. The flip side of that is there's a lot more EVs coming, right? In the next 12 months alone, we're probably looking at between 50 new models from manufacturers that are going to show up. And so the demand for those chargers is very likely for a long time going to outstrip the supply when you're out and about. Okay, when you're on road trips, or you're in a larger metropolitan area and you want to be able to charge somewhere while you're shopping. Now, the solution to that is obviously having a home charger, which is going to cover 90%, of your use case, and you'll be able to charge overnight when you're at home, if you have the ability to do so. But some of those arguments, again, we're still early in this deal, okay? And the benefits long term, from a product perspective, is something I think most people who are anti-EV or who are very skeptical don't really understand. They don't understand the impact that EVs can ultimately have on the grid. Okay, being able to power your home or supplement the grid requirements and the power load when you're at home, and when the temperatures are very hot or very cold, and all of a sudden you need something to help supplement that. So having energy storage devices in mass scale in our society is not a bad thing long term. Right? Imagine everybody today, if they had a giant 100 kilowatt hour battery in their garage or somewhere in their home, and it was able to store energy that's being produced at off peak times to be used at on peak, we would all be better off. right? That would be a much better solution for our grid than some of the other things that we're having to cook up and dream up in our society. So, EVs can step in and actually fill that gap, right? Just from a product perspective, EVs are an exceptional driving experience. They're quieter, they're more powerful, they're more simple to maintain, okay? And yes, especially early on, in situations where battery replacement was necessary, it could be expensive. That price is coming down very rapidly, okay? And the longevity of the batteries is being proven out over time, well beyond what most people had expected. And so, EVs in the long term, cost of ownership is really nice. It really is. There's upfront costs still because manufacturers are still attacking the market at the high end, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. So, look, overall, again, this is just something that I'm still really excited about. And I think more and more people, as they get to experience electrification in their vehicles, they're going to enjoy it as well. Now, if you've watched any of our previous videos or reviews, and I highly encourage you to go subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But if you've been watching those videos prior, you know that we're big fans of the plug-in hybrid. And that's not, again, that's not because we're in any way, shape, or form anti-full EV, but we always felt plug-in hybrids were a great way for people to find the middle ground between their needs. And particularly in a place where we live in Texas, where things are still very much spread out, and you do need to do road trips. You go any direction from the Metroplex, you're talking about a couple hundred miles to get to the next major city. Okay, plug-in hybrids would have been a great solution, and we're starting to see manufacturers sort of fall back to that strategy to help meet their CAFE requirements and get to where they need to be. And match what consumers are now demanding. So, that's exciting. Obviously, we're driving in the 4xe, and that's a big part of it. Plug-in hybrids are great, and I hope we see more of them. I think there's going to be a need there for that approach, even as that EV infrastructure continues to build out on the interstates and fill in the gaps all across the country. I still think this solution is a really good solution for the next 10 to 15 years at least, okay? So, one of the other things that I'm starting to hear a lot of noise about is that there are certain manufacturers who are really struggling right now. And Stellantis is one of those that the sales numbers are just completely in the tank. And I'm starting to start to see a lot of videos or articles popping up and saying that they're blaming it on electrification. And the dealers are in revolt saying, well, we can't sell the products, the EV products that you're about to push onto our dealer lots. And I'm thinking, well, you're not selling the ICE products that are on your dealer lots, okay? If I go over here to the Jeep and Dodge Ram dealer and I drive through there, there's really only 2 plug-in hybrid models on the lot. Maybe 3 if you count the Chrysler Pacifica, okay? You got the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, and you got the Jeep Wrangler 4xe. Well, the Jeep Wrangler 4xe is the #1 selling plug-in hybrid in the country. All right, so that's not your bogeyman, okay? The vast majority of those vehicles on the lot, they're ICE. And so for people to come along and try to blame that pivot to electrification as the reason that they can't sell vehicles, that's hogwash. And, now dealers are pushing back. Dealers are pushing back because particularly Stellantis dealers, they make all their money in service. Okay? Make of that what you will. But it's not because, nobody wants the EVs. In fact, I would almost argue the opposite. Stellantis is struggling because they haven't been able to innovate fast enough and deliver better fuel economy and better performance across their model lineup in a way that benefits consumers. They are behind, and they've got to catch up. They've promised all these new products over the last 2 to 3 years, and they're still not here. We have the Jeep Recon that is still nowhere to be seen. They showed us a pre-production model, and then nothing for months and months and months. We've been promised a revamp of the 4xe platform for the 2025 model year. Guys, we're in August of 2024. Usually we're a couple of months into knowing exactly what's coming for the new model year for Wrangler. We've heard nothing, right? We've been told a 4xe is coming for Gladiator, but then just crickets. So something's going on behind the scenes from an engineering and a product packaging perspective. I think they're in a little bit of panic because they know that maybe what they were doing just wasn't good enough, that the market is going to have a higher expectation, certainly than what they're producing now, but maybe even what they had planned. And that's a good thing, guys. Okay? You know, you heard the CEO of Stellantis say, well, brands that don't sell, we're probably going to have to get rid of them. Guess what? In a massive transition in this industry, there are going to be winners and losers. All right? And ultimately, as consumers, we're the winners. Okay? So if Stellantis and their brands can't keep up, and they can't innovate, and they can't deliver the promises of electrification in a way that you want, they're not going to be around. And the folks who do that, the upstarts, right? So, you know, if Tesla continues to improve their products and maintain their lead ahead of competition, that's good for you. But you got folks coming along like Rivian, Lucid, who, by all accounts, are producing really exceptional products. That's a win. General Motors, Kia, Hyundai, really good electrification strategy, and they're delivering products that people are buying. Okay? They are buying them because they're good. The technology is good. The value is getting better and better. All right, and you know, these products are designed well, and you know, the charging infrastructure, the speeds, the capability to use that power, not just to move your car, but to power accessories, to even power your home. Like, all of these things are hitting the market from certain companies, and they're winning. Okay? Stellantis, they haven't done it, and so they're losing. And it isn't because of electrification in their model lineup. It's because of the lack of it, to be frank. We'll see what happens. I'd love your comments down below. Hit me up with your EV hate or your EV love. Either way, I can take it. We're grown. But no matter which way you feel about it, it's not stopping. That train has left the station. And overall, long term, that's a good thing. All right, this was the Monday Morning Commute, little EV rant. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like the video, whether you love it or hate it. Just go ahead and like it. And we'll see you next week.